us practice them. Okay. And so today's session objective will be that by the end of this webinar, you, all the participants, will be able to use the SWOBAT format, which I will be telling you about, using a topic, a situation, and a language function to write a learning objective for effective lesson planning. So some of you may already know some of this. We're starting from the basics to make sure people know that we are working hard in Panama to get all English teachers on board, current teachers and also in-service teachers. Pre-service and in-service teachers will all benefit from knowing how we create learning objectives. So with that, let's get into it. Next slide. So as teachers, we need to be more specific about what we want our students to learn. We don't want to just say in general, oh, I want them to understand. I want them to experience language or English. I want them to become familiar with. I want them to know X, Y, Z. That's just too general for us. We need to be more specific about what we want them to do, what we expect them to do in the classroom, and we want to phrase it and conceptualize our objectives in a more specific way. So it's necessary for us to use specific words, specific verbs that show us what the students know. For example, I only know that you understand if you create something for me. I only know you experienced a good lesson if you could draw something for me. Or I only know you became familiar with what I have if you identified it for me. So if you could see the difference, general verbs are not going to help us know whether the students are learning or not. We need to have more specific action verbs that tell us exactly what we want to show, we want them to show us that they know or that they understand and that they are interacting and getting something out of it. So we're going to demonstrate how this works. And with the next slide, you're going to see how it works real easily with the SWOBAT format. So you must be thinking, what is SWOBAT? Why is she using this funny word? Well, it's an acronym that stands for students will be able to use. To use what? Use specifics. It specifies what the students will be learning, whether it's vocabulary or grammar or some sort of Joelle, is that slide continuing with all of the other information? The speaking yes, our target, we want them to be able to use the target language, which is English, to develop their linguistic skills. So we have to be able to state specifically what the students will be able to do, to learn linguistically. The two in our format is going to be the action verbs that we just looked at. Action verbs that are observable, action verbs that are measurable. This is our pragmatic usage of a learning objective, what they can practically do. And then finally, the last part of our format is in what situation or in what group dynamic or what context are they going to be using this linguistic skill or this practical functional skill. So there are three components to the SWOBAT formula or the SWOBAT format, and we're going to see some examples of that so that it makes it more clear for you. So let's take a look at an example of how we use the use, to, and in. Remember those three basic components. So these examples will address specifically speaking for communication. Okay, so productive skills, how to say something in our English target language. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first one. And notice that the red parts are the components that we want you to see clearly in this SWOBAT formula. So by the end of the lesson, students will be able to use, remember that was our first component, use what? Use family relationship vocabulary, that's our linguistic component, to do what? To introduce their partner's family, a very specific function, right? Very also pragmatic and practical. In what situation? In a presentation to the class or in small groups. Okay, so that's one example of how we can create a SWOBAT simple objective, learning objective for our students. Let's take a look at the second one. Joelle, if you're too busy, I can read that one myself, but if you're not, I'll let you read this next one so that they don't get tired of my voice.
All right, I'll read it.
Go ahead.
By the end of the lesson, students will be able to use the third person singular form of the simple present tense, pronouncing the sound ending correctly to report daily activities of their classmates in a mixed interview.
Oh, wow, that's really loaded with a lot of information. But the more specific we are, the better. Because look at the use, that's what we want, that's part of our formula. Use what? What linguistic component? The third person singular form of the simple present tense, pronouncing the S ending correctly. It's a mouthful, but it helps us to navigate our lesson or see or know how to test our students or assess our students' knowledge at the end. It's observable, it's measurable. And two, to do what? The function, the pragmatic part is to report daily activities of their classmates. And finally, in a mixer interview. So they're going around and interviewing each other and making sure they're using that linguistic part correctly and in that context of reporting the daily activities. Let's take a look at another example that'll make it stick and validate everything we're going over. Go ahead and go to the next one. A couple of more examples. This time, no more, not that much red. I'm just going to show you the three components, as we said, the use, the to, and the in. Okay, and the first one, by the end of the lesson, students will be able to use replies of expressing surprise, happiness, and sadness to do what? To talk about and respond to a partner's travel experience in what situation, what context? In a paired activity. Okay, do you see the three components, the use, the to, and the in? These are our three components for the SWOBAT format. And just to change it up a little, go ahead, Joelle, if you're available, to read the second one.
Perfect. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to demonstrate their ability to give advice using the phrases you must, you should, you ought to, in appropriate situations in a cocktail mixer role play.
Wonderful. Now, you don't always have to have it in the same order, the three components. They can be, first, second, third, it doesn't matter. As long as you include the three components, you're going to have a good learning objective that will help you guide your teaching and your observations of how much your students are learning and if they're making progress. So demonstrate their ability to give advice. That one is the practical, pragmatic function portion. Using phrases, you must, you should, you ought to. That's the linguistic portion. And then in is the easiest to state at the end in a cocktail mixer role play. So I think you're getting the idea, but I won't know until I give you a little practice. So let's take a look at the next slide. Well, let's see where we begin so that you can do this on your own. We have a topic, which is the general subject that we're going to talk about. Then comes the situation. In what situation are we going to use what we want them to learn? And then we have the function, the language function that we want them to learn. And what vocabulary and structures do we need to preheat them or show them before we let them take off with this learning objective? That will give you the learning objective. If you choose a topic, a situation, a language function, and what you're going to teach them. Let's take a look at an actual example so that it's cemented in your brain. Let's go to the next slide. So here's a real where we could begin at going to Nico's Cafe, right? And the main top, it's in Los Pueblos, and we're going to talk about food in general, very general. Notice that our triangle is upside down. The reason it's upside down is that we start from the very general and go down to the point to more specific. So in general, we're going to talk about food. We're going to teach them about eating out and how to order breakfast. That's the language function. And the vocabulary and the structures that they will need will be things like eggs, toast, hash browns, bacon, coffee, orange juice, how to say, are you ready to order? How to say, yes, I would like X, Y, or Z, etc., etc. So with that, we will have a learning objective because we have all the pieces to put together a learning objective at the end, at the bottom, which maybe Joelle can read. There it is.
At the end of the lesson, students will be able to order breakfast using breakfast food vocabulary and answer the question, are you ready to order? With yes, I would like, in a role play between a server and a customer.
So on your own, look at this, everyone. Do you see the three components? We always say by when we want them to know this or learn this or be able to do this. And then we want to state what we want them to learn, which is using breakfast food vocabulary, our linguistic piece. And then, and also to answer the question, are you ready to order? All that is part of the linguistic piece. In a role play would be with a server and customer, that would be in what context at the end. But it doesn't matter as long as you have all three parts, doesn't matter what order they're in. The pragmatic piece is, of course, able to order breakfast. All right, let's go on to another example, and then it'll be your turn. Next slide. So here's another one without pictures, just to give you another example. The topic we want to talk about is talking with a friend in general. Then the triangle gets a little slimmer and it says situation. Then we want to talk about past weekend activities. And then the function that we want them to be able to use is the past tense, describing activities using the past tense. That's our language function. And the vocabulary and structures we want them to learn are, what did you do last weekend for fun? I went shopping. I saw a movie. I played soccer. So you see how the past tense is in that vocabulary and in the structures. So our language function, they need to learn all this vocabulary and structure as a function of doing the situation and in that topic. So let's take a look at the language function at the end, Joelle. It should be on there. Go ahead and read it if you still are there.
Learning objective. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to talk with a friend about what they did on the weekend using action verbs in the past tense in a verb exchange.
So Joelle, do you see where would be what's our topic is what?
So our main topic is talking with a friend, right?
Exactly, yes. And then what situation?
So in this case is the during the weekend, activities on the weekend.
Exactly, exactly. And then what language function are they learning?
So they are learning at tense, like in this case, past tense.
Exactly. And then finally, well, we already see the vocabulary that they need to be able to do this. And then finally, in what situation we chose to do it. In what situation? A paired exchange, right?
In the
Talking
pair
to a
exchange.
friend with someone else, maybe in pair, doing pair work. All righty. Well, let's see how well you guys can produce your own learning objective. Let's take a look at the next slide. Here are some topics for you to choose from. So take a look. We have topics on homes, friends, food. Look all the way down the first column. Peruse the second column. Go to the third column and see what topic is of interest to you, just for practice. This is just for you to practice. And for us to see, we're going to see if you understand, because we are going to assess just by asking you at the end to share some of your learning objectives. Choose a topic of your choice and jot it down. Take a look. Maybe I would choose holidays because I like holidays. I like communication. I like humor. I like culture. You just choose one that appeals to you. And then, if we could go on to the next slide, I would like you to jot down a language function that maybe you would consider teaching your students, whether it's telling time, making requests, giving and receiving permission. Go ahead and take a look at all of your options here. These are just some suggestions. Greeting people, introducing oneself. These are all language functions. And so you can choose one of these functions. So we gave you a list of topics, and now you can choose a language function from this list. And then finally, we're going to give you the opportunity to develop your own language objective. Let's go on to the next slide. If you need, we're going to give you an opportunity to see those lists again. But here's examples for you that we went over as a point of reference so that you know how we use learning objectives with you to present how to formulate one so that you have an example, two examples here, and then you're going to produce your own. The next slide, or maybe Joelle, are we going to let them look at these while they create their own? We're going to give you about a couple of minutes to write your own learning objective using the topic that you chose, the language function that you chose, and using that formula, that format, the use, to, and in. So let's see if we can give them that information either in the chat box or leave it on. There's the topics. Yeah, or leave it on this example where to begin. Maybe with the visual, with the triangle. Yes, there we go. That would help if you chose a topic and you chose a situation or a language function. You can now develop your own learning objective using our SWOBAT formula. Students, by the end of this lesson, students will be able to do what? To use what? To do what? In what context? So let's give them a minute or two to come up with their own, and we'll just have you share them after this in the chat box. So Joelle, are you my timekeeper today?
Yes, I'm checking in and we have enough time.
Okay, wonderful. It's nice to see 59 participants. We will give you a chance to ask questions toward the end. So if something is not clear, you will have the opportunity to ask questions.
Okay, by now everything is clear for me. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'm so glad not to just hear my voice and Joelle's voice. Oh, there's
Okay. No, the problem is that I am driving, so I am trying to get the more information that I want, that I
Oh,
need.
wonderful. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that it's clear. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that.
Thank you to you.
Thank you, Nympha.
So I'm going to share again an example just to have like a big, framework of
That's a good idea. Great,
what
Joelle. Go
is
ahead.
the in here, starting.
There we go.
So they use the to and the in, right?
Yeah, to start out, that would be the easiest way. You can do it for speaking, you can do it for reading, you can do it for writing, you can do it for any of the four skills. There's our format, exactly. Use, to, and in. Just to begin. I know
Perfect.
that I
I
see it.
think that Kathleen Gutierrez is raising her hand.
Wonderful. Kathleen?
Yeah, Caitlin, thank you. So there's not specific level for it, right? For our language learn objective, is it?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, sure. Since I joined a couple minutes later, sorry about that. I'm just clarifying. Do we need to create our learning objective based on a specific topic, or only the SWOBAT formula that you shared with us?
So you can use this SWOBAT formula, and we did give you a list of topics and language functions as suggestions. If
Yeah,
you
I
just,
already did that part. Just
wonderful.
want to
And
know
you
if
know,
I have to tailor it a little bit more.
that would be great. We would love for all of you, we're going to give you a chance to share all of your objectives in the chat box when you're ready, which we're getting, I think we have about a minute left. And then we will see if everyone is understanding, because now I will have some evidence, some proof, some writing in the chat box to see if there is an understanding and if you have done it by creating your own learning objective. So as I said earlier, we're modeling everything that we would like to see, out from best practices teachers do, have some measurable outcomes. How do I know if you understood? I'm going to see in the chat box based on your example of a learning objective. And yeah, try to gear it to your group, Kathleen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have one from Savi Vega in the chat box.
Wonderful.
By the end of the lesson, students will be able to use simple past and past continuous. I cannot read it. To narrate an embarrassing moment in a paragraph.
Very good. So this one is for writing. Excellent. Use simple past tense. Good. Embarrassing moment in a paragraph. Yeah, just mention how, yeah, you already did. You already did. You have all the components.
We have another one here. Can you see it?
I see it. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to use travel vocabulary to express wishes and hopes as part of a New Year's resolution sharing activity. Yeah, I assumed that the sharing activity would be in small group, pair group, in front of the class. It doesn't matter. You decide as the teacher. That's great.
We have another one here. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to compare two of their favorite places using comparative in an oral presentation.
Okay, comparatives in an oral presentation. Very good. You have it all. You can even be more specific if you want, which comparatives you want them to use, and that's fine, as long as you know what you're going to measure.
We have another one here. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to express their favorite kind of music using simple present.
Yes, and maybe in small groups or in pairs, maybe that just give us the context, because the in part is really to prepare them for the real world, to be able to communicate that to a friend, to a parent, to a teacher, to a small group, to a whole class. So we would like to create that context for them in the classroom. So don't forget the in part. It's the easiest part. It's the sociolinguistic part, the situation or the dynamic of the context you want them to produce this. Very good. By the end of the lesson, the students will be able to use to express wishes and hopes about political changes in their country using the phrases such as I wish and I hope in a small group discussion. Very good. Very good. All right, I think they're getting it, Joel. What do you think? All right.
I'm reading great objectives here.
Excellent.
They use the function and the situation, right?
The use is the linguistic portion. What part of the target language do you want to focus on? So the use specifies what the students will be or able to do at the end. What grammar, what vocabulary, what speaking strategies, what writing strategies, what linguistic component. It's that they are learning to know what you want them to know. But you only see it if you make it specific, right? So it's what you want. Yes, go ahead.
I think this was great because it was like, if you say you provide the topic, and then I was looking at the learning function. I tried to match then the topic with the learning function, and it was like, I like it, and it sounds, it was like easier because, and I think the topic is good now that there are a lot of things going on in our country.
Oh, okay. And you brought up a good point that you do want to address all of this in the Panamanian context. You do
Yeah.
want to do that, will engage your students more, and it will be more appropriate and more relevant to them. So
Yeah.
very good. I'm glad you brought that point up. Yes. And that's why I said pick your own topic, pick your own function, pick your own topic will be better than my list because it'll be more appropriate to your audience, your group of students. Joelle, yes, we just did the share out, Joelle. We had excellent examples. I hope that more people will put their, oh good, I just saw someone else coming. Good, by the end of the third grade lesson, students will be able to participate in a fun class discussion to persuade a classmate to join a chosen free time activity using key vocabulary about indoor and outdoor activities with 80% of accuracy. Wow, that's great. Very specific. So you know what? That will really help you assess their knowledge, what you wanted them to know and use, and in what context. Okay? Excellent. Okay. So now we shared our objectives in the chat box, whoever wanted to, but I also want to make sure that every time we do this, as Joelle mentioned in the beginning, this isn't the first and last. We are planning to do a series of webinars based on what your needs are. And so this is our first one, and we started out with something basic so that we can build on it. We wanted to present a foundation so that we can build on it. That's also a good teaching practice. And so, Joelle, I don't see that slide anymore, but that one is a resource that the Regional English Language Office at the American Embassy offers all for free to be able to access. There we go. To access free YouTube videos and other little mini lessons and tips and strategies for English teachers. It's a great resource. If you'll just go on there, you'll have a lot of fun going through what's available. So make sure you copy that one or jot it down, or Joelle is going to provide you with all the follow-up information on everything we went over. So that's a resource for you. And now I think this is our turn to be assessed and evaluated. Joelle, you're going to run this part because you said you wanted them to react, right?
Yes, I would like you to go to the reaction section here on Zoom, and let's see if we have covered this objective in the session. Just send us a reaction, right? So you go to the reaction part, and then the idea of the webinar was to, that we all here would learn about the use of SWOT format. Please send us a reaction. Let's see. Beautiful, excellent. Using topic, situation, language, function. Did we learn about that? Did we discuss about it? Fantastic. I see hands, I see balloons, I see,
Thumbs up, yeah.
Thumbs ups. Beautiful, excellent. Did we talk about did you write your learning objective for effective planning? I think we read a lot in the chat box. So we covered the objectives, right? You covered the objective of today's webinar.
Great, thank you for that feedback. I was looking at everyone's reactions, and I appreciate knowing that you got something out of it. Some of this may have been familiar to some of you. We just didn't know what level everyone was coming in on. So we established a baseline, and then next webinar we will build on it. And Joelle's going to give you more information on that on the next webinar. Well, I just want to add that the webinar that we will follow up with when Joelle gives you the date is going to continue with SMART goals and things that will, thank you for all of your wonderful comments, but don't go away yet. Don't go away because Joelle has some more information.
I'm sharing with you the evaluation, the webinar evaluation form here in the chat box. We appreciate your feedback. Could you please go and, check this, this is a Google form for your feedback. We appreciate your feedback. That will help us for future webinars. And that is great. It's just 3 questions.
And we do want your honest feedback because that's the only way we can meet your needs as teachers. We want you to tell us, oh, we need more of this, or no, we need more of that, or less of that, or please do this, that, or the other. We want to know. We want to serve your needs. That's why we're here. So this video will be available on YouTube. Is that right, Mr. Joel?
Yes, it's going to be available on YouTube. You have received the YouTube link. In case you will also receive this via email, the PDF of the information. So we'd like you to save the date for our next webinar. Our next webinar is going to be May the 21st, same time, Panama time. I see we have people from Venezuela here.
Right.
Thank you for joining. Yes. Save the date for our next webinar, which is going to be about this topic.
Okay, so yeah, this is just a preview. I wanted to share that. That's what's coming up next. We are building upon what we did today, and we're going to look at the Common European Framework Reference in relationship to Bloom's taxonomy, because your Panamanian curriculum includes all of this wonderful information that will help you navigate the new standards in your country. And so I'm going to do my best to help you make more sense of it and make it more comfortable with this new material. I know new standards are difficult to get adjusted to, but we are going to make it simple and easy for you. If you'll just keep coming to our webinars, we will break it all down for you and make sure that it's all palatable and easy to use. And we're going to look at Bloom's taxonomy. That's what that's for. And so that was a little preview. And I want to thank everyone for attending on a Wednesday evening, taking your own time out to enrich your teaching skills and learn on your own. And the SMART goals will be next so that you can teach even smarter. And thank you very much. I look forward to meeting with you again in May.
Beautiful. Thank you. Great. We have a lot of people saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Great. Great. Please go to the chat box and you know, share your experience, your feeling, your ideas about this webinar. This is going to be the first one. And this is an initiative that we have with the U.S. Embassy. And we also have the TESOL certificate program that we're going to be sharing with you via email. We're going to open the second group in August, and it's a certification in TESOL that is has the endorsement from the University of Panama, and it is recognized internationally. So it's an asynchronous program. It has 6 modules, and right now we are about to graduate the first group of 40 participants. So we'd like to share with you more information via email, and you can also contact. This is the email where here.
And Joel, before you wrap things up, some people are not getting the link to the evaluation.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh! You know what happens? I sent it to the people.
So stay tuned, everyone. Don't go away yet. We still need your evaluation.
In the waiting room. I sent it to. Now it's there.
Oh, okay. Now it's in the right chat box,
Yes.
not the waiting room. Okay,
Please
very
go
good.
there to the chat box.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me see you. Okay, perfect. So we'll be sharing with you more information about it related to the TESOL Core program. And then stay tuned. We will be sharing more information. You should probably receive an email from the CHI email, that is our future center contact information. So stay tuned, and we will be sharing information with you. Thank you very much. Please do not forget to complete the evaluation. Yeah, I'm receiving feedback. Beautiful, excellent. Please.
They also, yeah, they wanted the other link, maybe to the Relo that we shared.
Okay, beautiful.
Are you able to drop that in the box possibly from the slide? But this information will be available on YouTube as well, right? There we go. Thank you. The Relo connection to YouTube videos. Excellent. There you go, because I saw someone needed that. Okay. I think we covered it all, Professor Joel.
I think so. Please do not forget to complete the evaluation form and that we sent you, please.
Yes, and tell all of you.
Thank you.
Tell all of your teacher friends to come back next month, and we
next
look forward
month.
to.
Do not forget, we will be here. Next webinar is going to be May the 21st, 5 p.m. Panama time.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Bye-bye.
everyone. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, teacher.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Professor Rodolfo.
Gracias a ustedes.
Please don't leave without completing the evaluation survey, okay? The evaluation.
Yeah, we
please.
want your feedback. We want your input. Take your time to do that. It's important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Concise and very useful.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all again.
Thank you. We will.
Good, good.
I'm
Bring some
inviting more colleagues in Venezuela to join